Live, Laugh, Larceny discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or could be easy listening to all you psychopaths out there.
All stories are based on actual events, but details may vary.
Listener discretion is not advised.
Live,
Laugh.
Larceny. Welcome to Live, Laugh, Larceny. Skipping your meds and getting high on your anxious thoughts.
Oh my God, Trevin.
This is Trevin.
And I am Amanda, and that sounds like just a normal Tuesday afternoon for me.
Yeah, normal, forgetful Tuesday.
So, Trevin.
Yes.
What is your dreadful dilemma?
So my dreadful dilemma has to do with the movies.
Ooh, okay, another movie one.
And this is a movie that I think a lot of our listeners will be pretty familiar with. You and I talked about it off mic briefly a little while back, but Emily and I finally decided to see what all the hype was about, and we watched all of the Twilight movies.
Oh my God! The Twilight series movies?
Yes, I had seen like a clip of the second one, maybe like 15 minutes of it, but that is as far as I had seen it.
Had Emily seen all of the movies beforehand?
No, she'd never seen them either.
Really?
Yeah, when I was 18, 19, the girl I was dating was obsessed with it.
Right.
This girl was so obsessed, I remembered she would get mad because you know how they had a relationship outside of the show?
Yes.
She would have days where we would kind of get in fights because she would just be so grumpy with me because the tabloids were saying that Kristen Stewart and
Robert Pattinson
weren't getting along at this certain point. So then that would be like rocky in our relationship.
Oh, that is awful.
And I never watched them with her. I don't know how I ever avoided it because this girl watched the Saw movies with me, but I guess I never had to watch the Twilight movies with her.
Damn, Trevin.
She had to see them at midnight when they came out and was just obsessed with them. So I finally saw these movies for the first time. I know they weren't going to be good.
Yeah.
But I was like, at least nostalgic good, where you can look back and see, oh, I see why this was good to kids.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
That's what I was just about to ask. Also, pause. Are you Team Jacob or Team Edward?
Edward all day.
Really? Why?
I hate Jacob's face.
What?
Yeah.
You hate his face?
And he's a terrible actor.
He's a terrible actor. Taylor Lautner, I'm so sorry. But he's hot. You don't like his face?
No, I do not like his face.
Oh my God, I really like his face. But his acting, I'm with you on that one.
I don't understand how these movies were made. I don't understand how this story was popular in the first place. It's just so bad. The qualities of both of these men are so terrible. I don't understand why this girl thinks like, oh, I'm so torn between this really weird, creepy dude or this other guy who has to be like super masculine and insert himself into everything.
Right. I mean, that's just like a normal gal in the dating pond these days, though. I mean, truly. It's like, well, this guy's a little bit of an asshole and maybe he's a little hairy like the werewolf, you know? And then this guy, he's pretty pale. He gets sunburned a lot out in the sun and he's kind of like not emotionally available, but they're both really into me. And now I'm the one who gets to choose between the two gentlemen.
I mean, it's great to have two people want you at the same time. And also, can I just say, I don't find these movies sexy at all.
Really?
I'm not trying to be like, I'm a straight guy. I can tell you if it's a movie that has sex appeal.
Yeah.
And I just don't think these movies are sexy. There was maybe one scene in the second to last one, I think.
When they were banging in the bed and broke it?
It was like the wedding night or something.
Okay, yeah.
That was the only time where I thought, this is kind of sexy, like one scene, maybe two.
Yeah.
I knew it was known as like a sexy show, a sexy teen movie thing. And I don't see that either.
Damn, I do see it. I see the sexual tension building within the teens, you know? I felt that when I was young. I felt it, okay? It's for teens. It really was designed for like young readers, the books.
I mean, there's like no character development. Things just kind of happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The movies are very cringe. Even though I actually enjoyed watching them when they first came out, I haven't gone back and rewatched them. I'd probably cringe hard. But even back then, I mean, there were really corny aspects about it even then. But I liked the moodiness. I mean, the teenage angst. I can see why it was popular with teen girls in particular.
I guess. I think it's got to be all in the marketing and like subliminal messaging or something. It's just not good.
Well, yeah, it isn't good, but...
I will say the whole time I was watching them, I was like, True Blood did this so much better. True Blood did this so much better. So after we finished it, Emily and I are slowly watching. I'm rewatching, and now she's watching for the first time True Blood.
I've never seen that.
Oh, it is so much better.
Oh, okay.
It's so good, and it's actually sexy, so...
Damn! Okay.
There you go, my recommendation for a vampire thing if you haven't seen it. If you like campy and cheesy...
And sexy.
And sexy.
This is Trevin's sexy recommendation for all of you out there.
Ooh.
Well, that is dreadful. That is hilarious that you guys watched the Twilight series together. Didn't see that one coming, to be honest with you. I also have a dreadful dilemma. We live here in Kansas City. And for those of you who don't know, it is known to be the city of fountains. There are fountains everywhere. Gosh, I mean, I don't even know how many there are. It's endless. They're everywhere, like on every corner almost, right? But I have this really amazing fountain very close to my house. I pass it a lot, doing errands, running around, and it's a beautiful, gorgeous fountain. They dye the water colors for different holidays. It's picture ready. It's gorgeous. The water goes up super high. Anyway, the dreadful part about it is that now, recently, they shut the fountain down for a couple of days last week, and I saw a whole crew out there wearing like Walter White shit, like head to toe covered in these hazmat suits.
Great, they're making meth in the...
Meth fountains, here we go. So Walter White and Jesse are over here, doing something to the fountain for days. And then we noticed that the fountain was back up and running recently. However, the power of the water is so pathetic, Trevin. It used to be the skyrocketing big boom of water. And now it's like...
So not picture ready.
Not picture ready. I did take a picture of it, but I'm going to try and get an even better one before I post it on our social medias. But... you guys, I'm going to do a before and after because it's so pitiful. I mean, it's like a little spurt of water coming out. It's just so damn dreadful. It's really killing my vibe every morning.
Well, at least nobody scheduled photos right there with you.
Could you imagine? They're like, all right, let's meet at the fountain. We get there and it's like,
sounds like a Viagra commercial.
So this week, Trevin, we are going to be doing killer facts.
Hello? We've traced the facts. They're coming from inside the house. Facts.
And I am going first this week with a fact for you all. So, Trevin, before I jump in here, how familiar are you with King Tut's tomb?
Not very much. The only thing I remember is growing up watching, it may have been like Unexplained Mysteries or National Geographic or something where they talk about people going in the tomb and then coming back and dying unexplained or cursed or something like that.
Oh, shit. That does sound like something that would be on the History Channel or...
Yeah, like right after a Sasquatch special or something.
Yes.
That's where I am on it.
Okay, well, I just wanted to share a little bit of information on this. I do want to give a shout out to an article that I found on history.com. The article is titled 9 Fascinating Finds from King Tut's Tomb, and it is written by Dave Roos. Now, I am not going to be telling you guys about all the riches and rubies and all of that and all the cool shit that was found in there, okay? Mine's a little bit more specific because I got really drawn to a particular item that he had. So, let me give you a little summary here. King Tut's tomb was discovered on November 4th, 1922. It contained more than 5,000 priceless artifacts and remains the greatest archaeological find of all time. However, not every treasure in King Tut's tomb was made of gold. I'm here to talk about the 145 pairs of undies he was buried with.
Oh, damn.
145. You heard me correctly, everyone, okay? I don't know why, but I found this to be very amusing.
I know
Okay.
he's not rocking basic cotton.
I'm going to tell you what he's rocking, okay?
All right, all right.
The young pharaoh who died at 19 after just 9 or 10 years on the throne was also buried with some of his clothing. Among the ancient textiles found in the tomb were 100 sandals, 12 tunics, 28 gloves, 25 head coverings, 4 socks with a separate pocket for the big toe so they could be worn with sandals, and 145 loincloths, triangular-shaped pieces of woven linen that both men and women wore as underwear. Now, to be more specific, everyone, King Tut's undergarments were a step above non-royal underwear, okay? According to textile historians, the weave of the ordinary Egyptian linen loincloth had 37 to 60 threads per inch, but King Tut's underwear had 200 threads per inch, giving the cloth a silk-like softness.
Damn, that's nice.
Silk panties up in King Tut's tomb, man. Straight up.
Man, I want silk panties in my tomb.
Can I just say, though, why 145 of those and only, what did it say, 4 pairs of socks?
Yeah, somebody must reuse socks a lot.
First of all, I love that it just had a separate toe spot to fit with sandals. I don't understand. I feel like the number of socks and undies should be like the same, but that's just me, I guess, question mark?
Yeah, at least somewhat close. Not that far apart. That makes me think that maybe he only wears socks on special occasions.
Oh, maybe. Maybe that is the case. They're like, okay, it's hot out here in Egypt. We have our sandals. We're good. Maybe the socks are just a special thing. Maybe that is what it is. I don't know. But I found that to be a really bizarre detail. 145.
That is a lot. I do like that they specify his are royal.
Yes.
And not just any run-of-the-mill underpants.
No, he's not rocking Hanes. He's not rocking the boxer briefs. He is rocking the Egyptian silk underwear. Don't get it twisted.
Fruit of the tomb.
Oh, that was so good. Episode title maybe worthy?
I think it's possible.
Oh, Fruit of the Tomb.
Wow.
Wow. He really, really should have put an LLC on that.
I should have.
Okay, well, Trevin, do you have a killer fact for me?
So this week, I want to tell you a little bit about moths.
Ooh, okay.
Are you a big fan of moths?
I mean, I'm not like a hater of moths. I'm not a huge fan either, but I mean, they're fine. I don't mind them.
Well, I think you're about to like them a little bit more.
Ooh, okay.
Because I'm going to tell you about some moths that rub their genitals for self-defense.
Okay.
So coming to you from NBCnews.com, bats and moths have engaged in an arms race for nearly 65 million years as bats evolve ways to hunt down moths and moths evolve ways to escape bats.
Oh.
For instance, while bats essentially use sonar to scan the nighttime skies for moths and other insect prey using pulses of electronic sound, insects have evolved bat-detecting ears sensitive to ultrasound at least 19 separate times in their past.
Oh my. They have just been over time, both of them evolving in order to catch one another throughout the years. Oh my God.
Yeah, I wonder who's up right now
Right.
in order. Previously, the Boise State University found tiger moths possess sound weapons they use to deter bats. By flexing structures on their midsections known as tymbals, they generate ultrasonic clicks that can apparently startle bats, warn bats that moths taste bad, and even jam their sonar.
Whoa.
But now the same team has been checking out hawk moths, and they found that they have been using their genitals to ward off bats.
How so?
So here's a description of what that team did. The scientists collected 3 closely related species of hawk moths drawn to electric lights on the island of Borneo. They gently tethered the insects to plastic sticks using strings tied around their midsections. When the researchers played bat sonar attack sequences at these moths, the insects responded with ultrasonic bursts. The males generate these sounds by rubbing scales on their genitals against the rear end of their bodies, much like how male crickets give off chirps by rubbing their wings. Female hawk moths generate ultrasound in response to bat sonar as well, by pulling their genitals inward to rub scales on them together.
What?
It says the fact that both male and females give off the sounds with their genitals suggests these sounds may play a sexual role as well. For instance, a male hawk moth was once detected sounding off near two females.
Okay.
The role hawk moth ultrasound bursts play remains unknown. The moths apparently do not taste bad to bats, so the sounds they make could instead be used to just startle bats or jam sonar. They still have more to go with it.
Okay.
But they do know that these moths are rubbing their genitals to save themselves in some way. They just don't know exactly what that's doing to the bats.
I'm curious if it's like, oh, kill two birds with one stone here. I'm going to scare these bats off, but also this feels great.
Yeah.
I wonder if it like hurts them or if it feels good.
Yeah, I know. Making my genitals click doesn't sound comfortable.
No, it does not. But I mean, good for them. Use what you've got to protect yourself. And
Yeah, for real.
with them both kind of evolving, I wonder like the first time that happened, right? They're like, oh, I'm just going to move this around, do this and move this. Whoop, doo, 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 doo. And then it started clapping and they're like, woohoo. And then it scared the bats.
And then their parents disown them and like, what is wrong with you, Jimmy?
And now in present day, it's way more accepted
Yeah.
by all of the bats in that clan.
Wow, they know how to evolve.
They really do. I have to give them that. And you know what else we could all evolve from? It's not moths, it's ads. And we are back. And it's my week to go first with a petty crime story. Now, Trevin, I haven't even told you this, but this is a story from my partner Jordan's childhood. It's another story from back in the day. And it's one that I've actually wanted to tell for a few months now. I have a bunch of notes in there. You know, we've got some listener stories coming up. Obviously, we're always going to have news stories. And I know I just told a personal one, but this one really inspired me. And we also just went on an extremely long road trip. And so on the way there, I asked him like all these questions and I really got in depth and I was having fun with it. So without any more weird explanation, here we go. Music brings a bunch of extra zest to life. It can redeem a movie with a confusing storyline.
What am I supposed to feel here?
Help you through a devastating breakup.
Make the feeling stop.
And can even make elevator rides with strangers less tense.
So did anybody catch the game last night?
Everyone knows you fucking farted, Gary. You would be shocked at how a solid beat and catchy melody can affect someone's life. Perhaps you find a lifelong bestie while out singing karaoke.
I love this song.
Or maybe the only reason your kid was born was due to a sensual R&B number playing in the background of an evening nightcap.
I'm pulling out the lotions as I'm showing you my donkey girls. We're making babies even though the world's on fire. Hey, fuck the future, I just need to get you on me. I'll stuff you like a turkey, fill you with my gravy of love.
Music touches us all, deep in our hearts and loudly between our ears, entertaining and inspiring us with each boom of the bass. Despite all of this, not all experiences with music are harmonious. Today's story is about one of these moments when musicality fell flat. So turn up your headphones and listen up to find out what happens when a petty crime is anything but music to your ears. The year was 1999 in Antioch, California. The top Billboard hits included Cher's futuristic auto-tune song titled Believe and TLC's diss anthem to broke men called No Scrubs. However, in the house of 6-year-old Jordan, the radios mostly played rap and hip-hop. Jordan's dad enjoyed the quick lines from Busta Rhymes and the funky beats of Dr. Dre and filled the house with their work. Young Jordan didn't mind the rap music, as he preferred listening to it more than he did his dad. His dad wasn't the easiest person to communicate with, as his conversations ranged from awkward silences to drunken rambles.
You wouldn't believe the things people do for ramen noodles in prison.
So any pleasant melody was a welcome sound to Jordan's little ears. This was the same genre that reverberated through the car speakers when Jordan and his dad rode in his white 1998 Mustang. It was on one of those driving journeys that Jordan heard DMX for the very first time.
Up in here, up in here.
One summer day, Jordan and his dad drove the Mustang to a local car show, with rap blasting the entire way. Arriving at the car show, little Jordan watched his father as he interacted with the other car enthusiasts. The men would always stand next to their whips, with their hands in their pockets and pelvises sticking out. No one made eye contact. They just mumbled facts about their vehicles and gave weird compliments to the machinery.
Your chassis is so long and hard.
After an entire afternoon of revving engines and overcompensating,
Mine's bigger.
Jordan and his dad started their trek back home. When they were about halfway there, they stopped in a nearby city to run a few errands. The father and son duo picked up a few items from a drugstore and walked back towards the Mustang when they heard something coming from the other direction. It began as a faint noise, barely noticeable over the busy sidewalk traffic. But as the two stepped closer, the pulsating bop lured them in.
Wow.
Eventually, they spotted the origin of the undeniable hip-hop rhythm. It was coming from a radio, placed atop a card table, set up next to the sidewalk. Behind the flimsy square table was a man, sporting a baggy jersey and even baggier trousers. The man was shouting at anyone that walked by his table.
Yo, 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 everybody! I've got mixtapes for sale! Fresh mixtapes for sale, my dogs!
The man yelled out over his track, holding CDs in his hands. Jordan's dad approached the table, making eye contact with the loud man.
You a rapper?
Jordan's dad asked the man, intrigued.
Yeah, son! Yeah! My name is Ick Rick. Let me play you one of my favorite songs from my mixtape.
The amateur rapper pressed a few buttons on his stereo, playing a preview of the rap song.
I'm a real rapper, oh yes I am. If you don't believe, I don't give a damn. I rap and I rap and I rap some more. I rap all day till my throat gets sore.
Jordan's dad bobbed his head to the beat and was impressed with the rhyming lyrics.
How much you charging for a CD?
Jordan's dad asked the rap artist.
$7, my dude.
The rapper responded.
Got change for a 10?
Jordan's dad questioned, pulling out a crisp $10 bill from his pocket.
Nah, man, I don't have any change.
The rapper said, shrugging his shoulders nonchalantly.
No problem. Keep the change.
Jordan's dad stated, exchanging the cash for a CD. Jordan walked quickly in order to keep pace with his father. He was excited to hear the full mixtape with his dad on the car ride home. His dad clutched into his new purchase, flashing the homemade cover art of the mixtape album with each step. Once buckled into the Mustang, Jordan's dad put the mixtape into his car CD player. He started up the Stang's engine and pulled back into the highway, as both passengers anxiously awaited the new rapper's music. They waited, and waited, yet there was no sound other than their car tires spinning against the paved streets.
What the hell is wrong with this thing?
Jordan's dad angrily wondered out loud as he messed with the stereo volume. But still, there was no sound. He changed the track, removed and re-entered the disc, and even gave his stereo a whack for good measure. Yet, after it all, it was mute. He had purchased a blank CD. Realizing he had been tricked, Jordan's dad rolled down the car window, removed the blank disc, and chucked it out as far as he could throw while driving. Music is a beautiful and vital part of life. The soundtracks of our lives will be composed with joy, despair, and hope as we jam throughout the years. And for anyone to threaten taking away that precious music, well, they are pettier than most. Because the only thing worse than listening to off-pitch flat garbage is hearing nothing at all.
That's so true. A world without music.
That's no world I want to live in. This story was really funny to me when it was told way back when Jordan told it to me, but I don't know. Obviously, music is a huge part of our show because of you. Both of us love it. It's a huge part of both of our lives. So when we had that extra time and I actually got to get the details of it, I was like, it's time. But I obviously completely made up Ick Rick. Jordan does not remember what the guy's name was, what his songs were about. He was 6. He just remembers a very brief interaction, and all the things. I don't even know what the guy looked like. I didn't even ask that far. That entire character I just had fun with. But everything else was to Jordan's account of how it all went down.
It's not even a lucrative business trying to sell your mixtape. You know what I mean?
know.
Like, independent artists aren't out here making a killing selling their mixtapes. Why would you start your scam off impersonating one of those?
I know. And also, why? If you were like a reputable guy trying to get his music out there, okay, and you had it for sale for $7, why wouldn't you have changed?
Right. Did you almost give up your scam sale?
So the fact that his dad just gave him the 10, I don't know. I mean, he was going to take as much money from his dad as he probably could get, but I just found that to be funny too. He took that extra dollars and he took it with pride.
I would say, yes, I have the change because I want the money, but
right.
Maybe they just knew that when you got somebody on the ropes like that, just say you don't.
I don't know, but the whole thing was just funny to me, and I really could relate to the fact in my mind of being really excited to listen to a new album, right? T-Swizzle just came out with some new music.
Uh-oh.
I know everyone is researching that and getting all hyped. Now, I know this rando on the street is nowhere near her status. But I was listening to that album a little bit on the drive, talking to Jordan. I was just getting really inspired by all the music parts of it. And it would be really disappointing to be excited about something and to put it in and realize there's not a damn thing on it.
The feeling of betrayal after that would be really weird to me because the purchase most likely partially was like a pity purchase. And you're at least hoping to kind of hear somebody trying their best. It can kind of make your heart feel nice. And be like, I'm at least supporting this person trying their best.
Yeah.
And then just having nothing at all would be jarring, and also it's just like, you took advantage of my kindness with a CD. That's so weird.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
But these types of weird little tiny scams happen probably just as often as the big ones, Take what you can get, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like they say, a broke clock's right twice a day or whatever.
That's true.
So they're still going to get some people do it. But still, I don't think that impersonating an independent musician is the way to make money.
No, God, like pick a different profession. I was going to say impersonate a doctor, but I don't want that.
I'm a sidewalk doctor.
Let me check your temperature. But anyway, I'm glad that I was finally able to share that one.
Yeah, that was a fun one, and that will be fun to do the music and changes with that.
I hope it's not too, annoying for you to do, because there's so many different feelings and emotions and genres and things and beats. But hey.
I think I can make it work.
I know you can. I know. I just don't want you stressed out while making it work.
Nah. So speaking of independent artists, I have a story to tell you.
Okay.
And it might just have a little thing to do with the independent people out there.
Oh my God, really?
Struggling, doing their best, hopefully not getting impersonated by people to make easy gains.
We could only hope.
But I think this could be A story that we can all see ourselves in. If you're one of these people, if you aren't, you're going to learn something. And here we go. How many of you listening right now are independent artists or business owners? It seems like there's been a lot more of us over the last 5 years or so. I wonder why that is. Did the millennial generation push to get more recognition with their passions? Or did the cost of living force us all to monetize our hobbies for food? Who can really tell? But the main point I'm trying to make is that it's a challenge, and it's relatable. So for those that said yes, how's it going for you? Have you felt like a sense of control has been taken away over the last year or so? Has the pay-to-play nature of social media left you feeling like a content cow, twisting your nips to fill some algorithm's cup? If so, I get it. Despite technology advancements turning us into unwitting workers, there are so many positive things that we have in common. Our passion, our drive, our willingness to sacrifice food or sleep for a chance to reach one new person. The success of our work represents the long nights laboring and learning, the dark times contemplating quitting, and the slow times when it seemed nobody cared. The persistence it takes to ride those waves while happily accepting the bare minimum in return is admirable.
I can do this.
But with that drive to success comes the internal question we all ask ourselves. How far would I go to achieve my dreams? And in this hustle culture of hungry entrepreneurs, the answer to that question may decide just how far you'll be able to go. Are you willing to invest 20 hours of your own time a week, hoping it will pay off in a few years? Would you put a mortgage down on the family home just to bribe Rachel Ray's security guy to give her your book? Or would you commit the most disgusting act a human can perform and become a petty criminal? The story that I'm about to tell you is the tale of a man much like myself, a believer in his craft, walking the fine line between respectable and acceptable forms of marketing. Because when you believe in your art, you'll do anything to spread your message, even the unspeakable.
The life of a conceptual artist is no joke. It's not a bunch of privileged college kids blowing off paint classes just to hump and do illicit drugs on their parents' dime. It's a journey between life and death, over and over again, breathing, healing, deteriorating. The amount of lives I've lived working on my newest piece, Crotch, is incalculable by even Google standards.
Dude, all I asked was if I could buy you a drink. Never mind.
Yet another suitor scared away by my artistic prowess. I swear, nobody understands my pain.
Meet Matthias, a 51-year-old conceptual artist based in Munich, Germany. For Matthias, life was a canvas, a space to gather experiences and blend them into overcomplicated art that told a story. Oil paint on wood paneling, mixed media, dried macaroni, noodles, and paste. The medium never mattered as long as the concept was envisioned. With his keen artistic eye and ability to feel all emotions tenfold, the limit did not exist for how much he could express. However, the limit for how much exposure he got did exist. With the year 2020 being just 4 years in the past, the landscape for a creator had changed. COVID incubated burnt-out employees and turned them all into passionate hobbyists with a thirst for money and recognition. Anytime Matthias announced the completion of his latest project, he watched his hard work get dropped into a sea of information, only to be instantly buried under ads and posts by already famous accounts.
Can't people see the social media has turned into a marketplace? It used to be an ad every 3 posts on Meta platforms. Now, the only break I get from ads is posts by verified creators who already have a huge following, and small-time creators who spend a ton for marketing. I have over 10,000 followers and only about 200 see my posts. The work that I spend every evening screaming at the ceiling to complete has been reduced to a square image for my cousin Marty to comment a thumbs up emoji under. Why do I do it? Why do I bleed just to die in obscurity?
Matthias, honey, all I did was ask you to pass the salt.
It felt like nobody understood or even cared. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of these platforms used to aid creators in finding their audience. Now, it's a business that feeds off of them. In order to provide some relief from the dystopian dealings of independent creators, Matthias did have one way to bring himself back to basics with his love for art. his job. Matthias opted for the latter suggestion after reading in an arts blog that the best way to gain fame was either by paying the blog or immersing oneself more into the art world. Thus, he secured a job at Pinakothek der Moderne, one of Europe's largest modern art museums. Each day, Matthias eagerly punched in and took the scenic route to his locker, passing renowned works by the likes of Picasso, Warhol, and an array of lesser-known artists whose names were whispered among art scholars. As he strolled amidst the masterpieces, Matthias found himself immersed in a world where creativity knew no bounds. The museum's atmosphere stirred something deep within Matthias. Each one of these artists had something to say, and used different styles to do it. Abstract sculptures, repeating patterns, splotches, sketches, and a painting called Pain that looked like a zoomed-in photo of bacon. Each artwork carried a concept, an emotion, a message waiting to be unraveled. And as Matthias stood before them, his own reactions mirrored those of the original artists, as if he were glimpsing into their souls through their creations.
The way this two-headed anthropomorphic bird stands freely in a boat, yelling at a fish while a snake passes by, reminds me so much of the way our childhood homes no longer feel like our home once we move out. The absurdity and seeming randomness of the piece awaken anxiety that tells me to create a new home because the home I once knew is gone.
You know what, buddy? I was thinking the same exact thing.
For Matthias, this was a place where he could speak freely about art, emotions, and suffering, all while being accepted by passersby. Whether he was giving tours, planning the layout of a new exhibit, or just spending his lunch break eavesdropping on patrons, there was so much inspiration within this modern art museum. But, although he was thriving creatively and enjoying his job, the fact remained that his art wasn't getting the attention it deserves. Every evening, he whittled his fingers to the bone, perfecting his brush strokes and further exploring his concepts. A painting of a milk carton, adorned with his missing self-esteem, a half-burnt piece of grass, and a self-portrait depicting himself as a cooked piece of coconut shrimp reading a newspaper. Each one of these carefully showed his disdain for capitalism, yard management, and low-key, himself. Logging onto Instagram, Matthias uploaded a high-quality image of his newest work, Shrimp Simp, or How the News Made Me Small. He sat back waiting for his followers to be just as moved by the photo as him, but after 3 hours of staring blankly at his computer screen, the only thing he received was a comment from Marty.
This piece makes me want to go to Red Lobster,
the comment said, followed by his signature thumbs up emoji. The comment did the opposite of sparking joy for Matthias, instead taking the wind right out of his accomplished sails. Sure, he was supportive, but why is he the only one? Matthias began to type a passive-aggressive comment to all his followers before being interrupted by an email notification. The sound snapped him out of his hateful response, drawing his attention towards his mail tab instead. There, in his mailbox, was a message from work, filling him in on the newest exhibit that he will be working on at the museum.
Introducing the latest exhibit coming to our Modern Arts Museum. Glitch on the Art of Interference. Join us as we take a stroll through some of the greatest pieces of modern art, made perfect by the imperfections that drew us in. Uncover normative orders and socio-political disparities through our carefully curated collection that is sure to make visible what's invisible.
The catalog ad was music to Matthias's ears. The deep reasons behind most modern art exhibits usually spoke to him, but this particular exhibit sounded like it was made with him as the intended audience.
Make visible what's visible, huh? I might as well put myself on display. There's nothing more invisible than an independent artist.
The second that defeated thought escaped his lips, Matthias got an idea.
That's it! There's nothing more taboo in a museum than real independent artists. The people on the front lines actually living in the shit. The malfunction in art is how we are treated. I'm losing family members left and right for the truth I put in my work, while the big artists of today can wipe their ass with a canvas and immediately have fans rushing to interpret their stool sample. If they really wanted to make visible what's invisible, they'd put one of my pieces up there. I mean, if they truly believed in spotlighting the small, misunderstood things, they'd have to accept my piece if it just happened to show up there.
Looking at his most imperfect piece, Floating Clothes, he knew it would fit right in. The piece featured a family of 4, walking and holding hands, but all features, including the background, were painted white. The piece had an unfinished quality, leaving the viewer feeling empty and incomplete.
Even if no one likes it, the concept is so fitting. The act itself is the art. I am the voice of a generation.
The next morning, Matthias snuck floating clothes into his briefcase, joining the other exhibit technicians with constructing the experience. While his co-workers were carefully adjusting the video and photograph-based artworks, Matthias was alone in the entrance room, listening to the hard work of everyone else. Hammers lightly tapping nails, and video feedback could be heard through the walls. There was so much noise and scrambling required for what will soon be a quiet moment of reflection for museum ticket holders, and all of that hard work would be forgotten.
This isn't for me,
Matthias said to himself, pulling out his painting.
This is for all of you.
With his mission clear, Matthias retrieved the artwork from his briefcase and carefully positioned it on the wall. Steadily, he pressed his electric screwdriver against the surface, drilling 2 small holes to secure his 60 by 120 centimeter masterpiece in place. As the screws effortlessly supported the weight of the art, Matthias couldn't help but wonder if the museum was prepared to handle the weight of this guerrilla marketing attempt. With no name, label, or any identifying information provided, Floating Clothes sat proudly at the entrance, ready to greet all visitors of the Glitch exhibit. Matthias giggled to himself as he joined the rest of his co-workers on their projects. With each heavy sculpture he helped move, and every frame he leveled, he couldn't help but think about Floating Clothes. This was the perfect concept, and so many people were going to see it. Finally, his art would get the attention it deserved. And who knows, maybe this incredibly clever act of protest would be what puts him on the map. After the museum officially opened for the day, Matthias frequently checked on the foot traffic of Glitch. Each time he would round the corner, there Floating Clothes sat, undisturbed. Sometimes he would even catch patrons staring with their arms crossed, really taking in the message.
Those clothes are sure floating.
This is all he could ever ask for.
You've done it, you magnificent bastard. You finally got your art up in a huge museum, and people are actually paying attention. No more of these lame-ass responses and thumbs up from Marty. People are actually staring at my work. Mine! I have achieved the greatest artistic concept known to modern art. Once the word gets out about how far I went for this, everyone will know my name.
On February 26th of 2024, an unnamed technician for the Pinakothek der Moderne Museum in Munich, Germany, snuck one of his own artworks onto the museum walls. The nearly 4-foot wide painting sat at the entrance of the Glitch on the Art of Interference exhibit for an entire day until employees took it down after closing. Once investigations began, the unnamed man confessed to the museum via email, leading to him being fired and reported to the Munich police for the estimated $107 property damage caused by drilling the 2 holes. Original reports gave no information on what the art piece was and stated that the man could face 2 years in prison for the stunt. However, sometime later, museum insiders came forward, stating that original reports had downplayed the motives of the unnamed man. They presented photographs of the piece and provided more insight. According to the insiders, this was not a brazen act for fame, but, quote, was meant as a critical intervention by one of the people who help exhibitions happen but usually remain invisible, designed to provoke debate about elitism in the art world. One person close to the matter said, quote, the motive behind smuggling that picture into the exhibit was to see if the directors of the museum were prepared to practice what they preach. It was an artistic challenge. The technician who hung up that picture wasn't lusting for fame. The Pinakothek barred the technician from all Bavarian state painting galleries for the next 3 years, as well as making him sign a dissolution agreement, nullifying his employment and possibly containing a confidentiality clause. The museum stated that they did not agree that the picture was, quote, an artistic intervention, because no hurdles had been overcome. Charges for the property damage were dropped in March, leaving only the museum bans as his punishment. The museum refused to comment on the quality of the artwork, but a spokesperson did add insult to injury by telling The Guardian that they, quote, did not receive any positive feedback on the addition from visitors to the gallery. If any of you aren't an independent artist or entrepreneur, maybe now you understand a little bit more about their struggle. It's hard out here. There's no easy button, and the internet isn't the place for discovery that it once was. The days of Justin Bieber getting found by Usher on YouTube are long gone, and the only thing that experts tell us to do is make more stuff, because, you know, they aren't profiting off of the people they're trying to help or anything. This week, I challenge you all to show some love to an independent creator, especially if that creator is you. What started as a fun hobby, form of expression, or skill that can make a little extra cash has been turned into an endless hustle for relevance, a perpetual cycle stoked by bad actors with deep pockets. So buy a piece of art from an artist that speaks to you, spread the word of an independent singer that you love, or ask the kid up the street to mow your lawn instead of the fleet of matching vehicles you see all over your neighborhood. Whatever it is, it won't take much to make their day. And you never know. Maybe your business is a thing that stops them from committing a petty crime.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Both stories we said music to your ears in.
Yeah, I had to stop before I even read it out to Amanda. I said, I think you already said this.
This is bizarre to me, but I'll accept it. So we don't really know the motivation from the man who hung the painting then at all?
Well, the people who say that it was more of a protest for trying to say an artistic thing and not so much about fame, they are the people who worked there. So I'm guessing it might be people who knew him but can't really say too much. But I think maybe it was a coworker who was like, man, I'm gonna fucking do it one day. I'm gonna do, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
That's just what I think. But that's what all the insiders said. It was not for fame when the original newspaper was just like, obviously for fame.
If the part of it that you said the person didn't have a name tag or their name next to the art or anything is true, then how could it be for fame? Right? How would they know who it was?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Maybe he thought that if he could keep it anonymous and just throw it up there to really just throw a wrench in the whole glitch thing, maybe it was just being artsy.
I don't know. There's so many different ways it could be. And without actual confirmation from the person themselves, I don't even know. It could have been just done because they could, I don't know.
There's a lot of different motives. I mean, it could be a little bit of both. I mean, pulling a move like that is pretty cool. So you would maybe hope that your name would get out there.
Yeah.
But it does seem like they do have it pretty well set up that if you screw up, they can kind of make you do a confidentiality clause. So even if you were to move something, trying to get fame, that would suck so much if you did that.
Right.
And then you couldn't tell anybody or you'd get in real big trouble,
Yeah, because that's the whole point of it, is being able to get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
If that was the motive. Damn, do we have a picture of the floating clothes?
I called it floating clothes. It does not have a name because he left behind no information.
Oh.
But I called it floating clothes, giving it the most basic name because of what it looks like.
Okay.
So I think I described it pretty well. It looks like a family of 4 walking and holding hands, except everything is painted white except for like the outlines of their clothes.
Yes, and the parents don't have bottoms, they just have tops on.
I thought that was weird too.
But the kids have full outfits on. The light source on this is actually pretty spot on. Like, they have the lighter areas on all the family's right sides. But, I mean, okay. Art is open for interpretation. It's one of those things you can't ever really, without a doubt, say this is good art or bad art. That's just not how it really works. But I don't know. This whole story is so interesting to me.
That's kind of like what you just said there. It made me wonder why the museum wouldn't say anything about the quality of it.
Right.
And they're probably just like, oh, it's an independent artist. But if like some people started liking it, they'd be like, actually, I'd probably say it's worth $1 billion.
There's always going to be those people that if other people are talking about it and if other people love it, then they're like, oh, it must be great, so me too. And then there's other people that actually, stand firm in what they like or don't like. But yeah, it's so confusing in the art world. As someone who went to art school in college, oh my God. And I loved your dramatic voice. I know you had to do it a lot, but that was just such a funny bit where I got to keep interrupting you.
Yeah, I mean, this was a lot of playing off of my old self with music, but
yeah, I loved
still love it.
I love it. So he got fired, right?
He got fired and banned from going to the museum.
I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a harsh punishment for this person because they probably really like to go to the museum.
I know, that's kind of what I was thinking. It sort of feels like a Twilight Zone-y sort of thing where your love was taken away from you. But yeah, they said banned for 3 years, and they said from any Bavarian museum. So it could be like within the state, or I don't know exactly what they mean by that.
Oh my God. I don't know. It seems like they were pretty upset that it got snuck past them. And I find it to be quite funny that it hung up there for a whole day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's a long time for no one to be like, what's this one without a name?
I think they had
Right in the
said
front.
that they kind of held off because they didn't want to draw attention to it. And then they just thought that only the visitors of that day would see it and nobody else would.
That's a good point. If I saw staff members and I'm in a gallery and they're like, hut, 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 and they go over to the painting and like lift it up and take it out, I'd be like, what happened here?
That would be a very weird thing to see.
Especially if it's busy and there's a lot of people in there, and I guess I can see that. So connections, Trevin. Both were independent artists. We made that clear.
Mm-hmm.
Both said music to my ears, which was weirdly specific.
Yeah.
Anything else you can think of? I mean, those are like the main ones, right?
Honestly, I quit keeping score after we hit music to my ears.
I know. That was just nutty.
So I really like that. I mean, I think we already know what the episode title is going to be. But when I say connected by, I'll say the connection is music to your ears.
There you go. That's a really good one. I love that so much. I hope that everyone out there is just having the best week. And remember, no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
Doomed to rub our genitals together.
Bye.
See ya.
Regardless if you are Team Jacob or Team Edward, all are welcome here. And thanks for listening to our show.
And are you an independent artist or entrepreneur? Use your business page and follow us on social media. Follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, or Threads. Live, Laugh, Larceny.
And do you have any weird encounters with random rappers on the street? If so, send us your petty crime story. livelaughlarceny@gmail.com.
And give our show the same review that I would give King Tut's panty collection. 5 golden stars. Give us those stars on Apple, Spotify, Good Pods, or wherever you give reviews.
I'm pulling out the lotions as I'm showing you my dong, girls. We're making babies even though the world's on fire. Hey, fuck the future, I just need